because we do want to make sure it's good for all of us here. Then also, if you'll find that chat box, because that is where I hear everything. So do know that I'm watching that constantly. If you're first time in a session with me, you'll find that I'm highly interactive and I do watch that chat box. So I'd like to have that communication and answer the questions for you when you're having them. If it takes about a whole sentence or a paragraph to write it, then it'll probably take about a minute for me to read it. So all you'll see is the top of my head. It's not a good experience, so I will save those to the end. But right now, if you'll find that chat box and let me know if this is your first time in a session with me, just put the number 1. I'd love to know. So find that chat box. I'm looking for that. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Tanya, Sheila, Daryl, Andy. I see you, Holly. Wonderful, Brenna. I see you too as well. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Perfect. I'm glad to see everybody here letting me know. Glad to see so many first timers. All right, perfect. We're going to be talking today about how we can make your website work for you. And of course, we've got to thank the amazing people at SCORE because SCORE is so helpful to you. Understand the value that they deliver. Having OPE, other people's experience, is even better than other people's money because now you don't have to do the sweat, the tears, and the drama to try as and even the time and energy and money to get this experience. You're actually learning from them and you can dovetail and launch your expertise in your business from that expertise. Plus, they are there in your local area and they know your local resources. And you'll find that I am very local focused because I know the impact that makes to your community, to your business, and just to your quality of life. So I want to say thank you to the SCORE team. They are here for you if you have any questions. Yep, this is recording. So what I want you to do now is to go here next, now that you found the chat box, and I see so many people here are new. I'm also going to drop this link in the chat box. If you're on your mobile, of course, you can't take a screenshot of a QR code if you happen to be on mobile and watching this. So you might want to go ahead and tap what I just put in the chat box. You can tap there and you'll get to the copy of the handouts and the slides that I'm using right now. Now, here's the important thing. You need to download them right now. Do not wait to download them after the session is done. Once we hit the top of the hour, you will no longer have access to those. No matter how much you want to ask for access, you won't have it, but they will be emailed to you later when you get a copy of the recording and then the slides and handout too. But if you're a person of action and you want to take action right now, then you may want to go ahead and ask for that and download that because you know that only 17 to 18% of us actually take action on anything. We have great intentions, right, to do something, and then we don't do it. So it's only 17 to 18% that'll take action. Knowledge is not powerful until it's applied. So those of you who are ready to apply, again, I'm going to go ahead and drop that link. If you just came in the chat, you tumbled in, you may not have seen it, but tap on that link that I shared in the chat box because it'll take you right where you can get the slides and the handout. And of course, you can download those right now, and please do so that you'll have them. And now you can take action on what you're actually going to learn today. This is who I am. Just like Bill said, I come with a strong small business background. I started in a business incubator, very grassroots. I know what it's like to be butcher, baker, candlestick maker in your business, and now chief website designer, head of AI, as well as the janitor and the person serving the customer. So I know what that juggle and struggle looks like. I'm not coming to you from a cubicle. I'm coming to you not just with great slides, but with actual experience on what it's like to be able to apply all these in very practical ways. You'll find that I'm non-techie and I will slow down and answer your questions. So again, if it's lengthy, I'll save it to the end and I will stop the recording at that time because you might share private information. I don't want you to share that on a recording. Plus also, that's only for the people that stayed in the room. It's the benefit of being here, right? You showed up and you're here. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive in today and talking about how you can make your website work for you, right? Which social media, all right, we're already in here. Which social media platforms are most helpful to entrepreneurs? It really depends on your target audience. Every target audience, Amawali, every target audience is different. And the platforms have much different, as far as the eyeballs, the targets, the people that are there are very different. Pinterest is much different than people who are on LinkedIn. Are we joining the Facebook group to get the docs? Nope, you're not joining the Facebook group. You're actually going to download those right here. You can join the Facebook group later if you want to. Try to say that too fast, right, Milana? So you could just go ahead and download the PDFs that are there. There's a slide deck, as well as the handouts. All right, we're going to be talking about how you can make your website work for you. You'll see in the blue link there that all things small business you can actually go through. Yes, it's easier on a computer. I agree. Yes, and the copy of the presentation. So I see everybody talking there. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody use that because this is your session. And in order for me to customize anything that I'm talking about, I need to hear you. It requires, yes, you're going to have to sign in because they have to verify that you were here, you registered for this session, so you have access to it. It's only for the people that registered for this session. So you just need to do that, Daryl, and then you'll be able to get in there. So just whatever you want to put in for your sign in, then you'll be there. My name is Maria Elena Duran. You'll see how you can connect with me. The first link there, the first handle, the @ at Maria Duran is me on X or Twitter, and then also at Marketing Coach Maria. No password. Then you'll be good. Perfect. Thank you, Brenna. Brenna is helping everyone out in chat. Brenna, you're our MVP. I appreciate you giving some instructions to everybody there. Thank you very much. So you can see me on X or Twitter at Marketing Coach Maria. The reason why I share both of those is because I want to make sure that when you apply what you've learned, because so few actually apply it, they all have good intentions. I want to celebrate that with you and share you with the rest of my network. So please do tag me on socials when you do apply what you've learned. So we know that people, if they have a bad experience on your website, will not return. It used to be that we talked about how people would go online, right? We would go online to look. But right now in 2020, our heightened expectation is that people live online. Since 2020, we are connected to these things like crazy. We will turn around in heavy traffic to get our phone. We might leave our wallet behind and even our ID, but we will not leave this device. And 84% of us go here first when we want to know, go, do, or buy. We've got the power of that computing here, and we are looking for your information or the information that will help us be able to solve a problem or that we're looking for to be able to become more educated as we make some buying decisions. So it's important for us to be there. Just like in retail, when if you have a brick and mortar, you've heard the phrase location, 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 how important it is. Well, location, location, location these days is right here. Your website is that location. Your website address is like your street address. And if people can't find you there, they don't believe that you're a viable, credible business. At basic, everybody's looking for that. Now, you could have great socials. You could have amazing socials, you know, where you're just showing on your Facebook page, you got a Facebook business page. Maybe you've got such a strong following on Instagram. Do not be romanced by those vanity networks, those vanity data and numbers and analytics. The reason I say that is because follower count means nothing if you don't have share and engagement rate. Follower count is just a vanity metric. So if you are utilizing socials, that is your decision. But I'm going to ask you to be cautious because understand social is rented land. So what happens like yesterday when X went under a cyber attack, or when the Armageddon happened 3 months ago when nobody could log into Facebook and Instagram? For all the people that you're connected with on all your socials, how do you connect with them again if you don't have access to socials? Because understand that could go away at any time at the whim of a bot that thinks, you know what, you're not putting some really good things out there. Maybe we think you're kind of spammy and scammy. So now you're unpublished. No reason. You have to prove to yourself now to Meta or to the other socials that you are viable information and that you're a real company. And it can take 21 to 27 days to even be republished again if that happens. What is your strategic plan if tomorrow or within the next hour, let's say you finish with this event, you try to log in and you can't access it and you've been unpublished for a variety of reasons? What is your strategic plan? Okay, right? Well, you have to download, right? So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I signed up for it, but you have to download it. Yes, it should take you just a moment. You should get it and you should download it, Rose. Thank you. Thank you, Bill, so much. All right, when we talk about website design, a lot of people think of what is happening on the left-hand side, graphics, colors, and fonts. That's what they think about. But they're not thinking about the whole design, which has to do with functionality, the layout, and the content that's there. Because without great content, there are 12,400 messages we get on any given day. And understand, if we get that way on those different places in different ways, it's easy to forget people if the content doesn't match with us. It's so easy to say, you know what, that's generic and that means nothing to me. And understand, when we become generic, we become a commodity. And like any other commodity, when people are making decisions on commodity, the only deciding factor is price. So when we look at a great website, it is goal oriented, very search friendly. It's got to be all of these 5 bullet points here. Clicked on the link and did the same thing. Brought me to the Google folder. Good. Thank you, Brenna. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link again. So if you tap on this link, then it'll take you there. Thank you, Brenna, for that. Perfect. All right. So we want to make sure that our website is hitting all of these 5 points, because these are basic to anybody who's visiting a website or visiting a location. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Daryl, for sharing with everybody there. You should see this. Perfect. Daryl and Brenna are our MVPs. I appreciate the both of you helping everyone out there in the chat box. Again, it will be emailed to you. If you run into any issues, it will be emailed to you later. It's just, if you want to take action right now, you'll have access to this right now. And as soon as you want to start using this as your outline, especially the slide deck, you can start executing on things that you know that you want to start applying, that you've learned. So a great website has to be goal-oriented. Why do you have a website? What's the purpose of your website? So if you share with me in the chat, for those of you that have websites or are considering it, why do you want it? Okay. Let me know in the chat, everybody. A lot of times it could be for brand building, to bring in clients to our practice. Perfect, Tanya. Make sales. Thank you, Tina. Customers to find me, tell audience who I am, where I am, generate leads. Perfect. Piano lessons generate leads to get customers from out of town, so you're reaching beyond your geographics. Bringing clients, credibility. Exactly, Todd. To book events, share our services, make sales, build brand and make sales, passive income. And I'm not sure about clusters, but you're sharing clusters, Danny. I would love to hear more. Just use that chat box and let us all know. It could be for any of these 6 reasons, and it could be for a combination of those as well. So it's important for us to know with that website, who is our audience? Because if you are targeting anybody, everybody, and somebody, you'll get their second cousin, nobody. It is too wide. Your messaging, when you're targeting that wide a network, is too generic. And remember what I said, if they can't read and see your content, so from your video to your pictures to your copy, the text on your website, and they don't see it, or on your socials and they don't see it and think, oh my gosh, they get me, he gets me, she gets me, then you are missing them, because they have other people they can scroll to right away. So it's important for you to know this. It doesn't mean that you can't serve anybody, everybody, and anybody. You can, but if you miss that best customer, the one who gives you the most pleasure and profit, what happens then? If that's your bread and butter, everybody else is gravy. We want our bread and butter. So, yep, I see how. Am I accurate saying that? I often tell businesses such as landscapers that a website is like an extension of their business card. Not only that, you are accurate, Daryl. At the minimum, that's what it is. At the minimum, because we're all on these devices, right? But it's also your location. Understand that people go here first when they want to know, go, do, or buy. They're not walking around Main Street. They're not driving around town to see where they can buy a TV or where's the best place to eat. They're going here into Google Maps. They're looking to see when the busy time is. They're reading reviews. They're looking to see who has that recliner in town. They're not going to hit all the furniture stores. They're going here first, and they're doing that. If anything, 2020 shifted consumer behavior so much. That's why you see SEO, anyone that was doing SEO before 2025, it's much different now. There's some basics, but boy, that's changed, especially with AI, answer engine optimization in play, because all search is powered by some format of AI, just at different levels. And that's not going away. That's just ramping up right now. So as you look at that, are you actually there? Because this is location, location, location. And for you to be able to capture somebody's attention, they need to be able to know that you're not just generically speaking to everybody, that you specifically can help them and you have a product, service, or solution that they want. So when you're looking at your website, all of your goals need to be SMART tested. That's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound or timely. And the reason it's important for that is because you miss one of these 5 test factors, again, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, you miss that, then you might be off the trajectory to get the results that you want. I hear a lot of people tell me, Maria, I want more followers on Instagram. If I get 100 more followers, and I ask them, what does that do to your bottom line? Okay, because people will say in their goals, I want more followers. Well, great. What does more followers look like? One follower is more followers. So one new follower in a year will make you happy, or be specific. That's why you have to be specific about that. Or I want to make more money. Well, great. One penny is more money. Again, what is it specifically that more money looks like for you? 20%. I want more leads. One lead, or I want to see a 10% increase in leads over last month. Again, be very specific and make sure that you can measure it, and make sure that's attainable. I made 10,000 last year and I'm going to make 1 million this year. Well, great. I'm all for big, hairy, audacious goals too. But if you don't have a plan to make that happen, then what are you going to do? Because if you do the same thing the same way and expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. So why would you be doing that? So is it attainable? Only you know that, because you measure exactly what you did last year and what is attainable for this year. And if you're new in business, you might be looking and using the help of a SCORE mentor who can help you forecast and look at what the industry standards or competitors are doing. Is it relevant? That's really important, because again, if it's not relevant, if you're just saying, you know what, I want 100 more followers. Let's say you're specific. I want 100 followers on Facebook, or 100 followers on Instagram, or 100 more on TikTok. Great. What does that mean to your bottom line? Because if you're not measuring, you are not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting your bottom line or getting you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. So if you can tell me now, if I get 100 people on TikTok, of the 100 people on TikTok, they actually click on the link in my profile or the link tree on my profile, and they come to my profile, and of the 100 people, I'm going to get 20 people to come to my website. Of the 20 people that come to my website, 10 will download this PDF or watch the rest of this masterclass or rest of this video, and now I'll get 10 subscribed to my email list. So now you have something that affects the bottom line, because email names and email lists and email addresses, those are all valuable, because now you can reach past the social network and still stay connected with them. So now you can say, for every 100 followers that I get on TikTok, I can get 10 email addresses. And that impacts the bottom line, because I know when I have 10 email addresses, 1 out of 10 will buy, and that is what this is worth to me. And then, is it time bound? Do you want it in the next 100 years? Or is it open-ended, or is it quarterly? Again, having it time-bound means that you have a nice solid goal. So there's some examples there underneath. Now, how will you measure your success? Okay. Is it online sales? If you're in e-commerce, absolutely. You need to be looking at on-site online sales. You need to know what your LTV, lifetime value, average order value of your customer for any business. Even if you're a nonprofit, understand your business are volunteers and sponsors and donors. So you need to know from your friend raising, how much are you getting? So what's the lifetime value of a sponsor or a volunteer? What's the average order value? So what's the normal amount they would actually donate if you're a nonprofit? Of course, if you're in e-commerce, lifetime value, AOV, you need to know that, but you also need to know what your abandoned cart rate and abandoned checkout rate, because those are two different things, and they are all signals to different actions. So all of that data is telling you something, and it's important for you to understand what numbers you need to look at and what the numbers are telling you. Also, it could be that you're collecting form submissions. Maybe they need to fill out the information, fill out the contact form, click on WhatsApp messaging. Maybe they need to call you, or you need to see what they're reading, where they're spending time. Are they going from your site back to your social sites, so that they can see and measure your credibility, because they're looking for your credibility at that point? Or are they going to your website, and then are they going to your competitors? And which competitors? Are you measuring that? Because remember what I said, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. So Google Analytics helps you see that. And the reason I'm starting with this before I go into the functionality of design is because people will tell you what they need. It's not about us serving the algorithm. Understand the algorithm is built to look and be able to promote helpful user content. Well, who says that it's helpful user content? The user, the person going to that website. If they find it interesting, if they tap around, click around, they watch the video all the way through, if they spend time reading that blog post, if they look at the 9 photos that you have there in e-commerce to show them what that product looks like in the wild and in a lifestyle, that is where people are telling and voting with their attention what matters most to them and if you are providing something of value to them. So Google Analytics helps you to know that, because understand, if you had a brick and mortar, you would want to know, for example, if all morning long people came in and they didn't buy anything and they left, but in the afternoon they actually came in and they went to aisle 1 and they went to aisle 4 and they went to aisle 3 and then they bought to something. Now we want to ask questions. Or they bought something? Because if we observe the people in the morning, we see they go to aisle 1 and aisle 4 and then they leave. Or aisle 1 and aisle 3 and then they leave. But the afternoon people are going to 1, aisle 4, aisle 1, aisle 4, and aisle 3, and then they buy. So what is it on aisle 4? I've got questions. Is it the people in the morning? Is it the people in the afternoon? Are they different? Am I more focused and the best client or customer for me is in the afternoon? And where do they go? If they've only go to 1, 4, is there something deterring them? Or 1 and 3, is there something deterring them on aisle 1? Is there something that really sells them that they can find on aisle 4? What is it? I want to know that. And when you know that from your website, if they come into page 1 and page 3 and they leave all morning long, 1 being your home page, and then the afternoon they go to page 1, page 4, and page 3, and then they do that success action, be it they buy something or and when I say success action, I'm talking about conversions. That's something successful that they do on your site that you want them to do. It could be that they buy if you're in e-commerce, they donate if you're a nonprofit that's looking for donors. If you're looking for sponsors, they fill out that contact form. They say there's an interest. They download the PDF. They watch the video. They click on WhatsApp or they make a phone call. Those are considered all success actions. All right. So you can find that out in Google Analytics. Let Bill know or your local SCORE chapter that you're interested in this. I do a full training on this to really deep dive into what all the numbers mean, because they do not mean all the same things. But within Google Analytics, you can see, for example, I was helping a business this morning with a press release that went out. And so I was watching in real time. There's a report where you can see as it goes across time zones, as a press release or a newsletter or a post that you do on socials goes out. You can see in real time if people are clicking on things and then taking the action that you want them to do. Are they coming to your site? You can actually see that, and it shows it in real time in that report. And this is 100% free. Do know that everything that I'm talking about today is 100% free with a free personal Gmail or Google account. A Gmail account is a free Google account. That's all you need, nothing paid there. And if you don't have a Gmail account, you just need a free Google account. And you can go to google.com/accounts to sign up for that. And you don't have to change your email to Gmail. You can use your email, your branded email if you want. You're just going to sign up and create a password. And like any other password protected site online, now you'll have access to it. And you get all these free tools. So you can see the life cycle, how are you getting them? Acquisitions, where are they coming from? You might feel like everybody's looking at you on TikTok, but your feeling and what the numbers are showing could be 2 different things. So it's important to see that. Where are they coming from? What are they most engaged with? What do they like? Do they like your videos? Do they like your shorts? So more of the vertical form video? Do they like your blog? Do they listen to your audio? Are they listening to your Spotify or your podcast? All right. So I often tell businesses, okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything in chat. Thought I saw something coming through. But how's your monetization? And then how's your retention? Do your customers come back? Do you have returning customers or new customers? Because a website that is getting a bunch of new customers, the content there is going to be a whole lot different than a website that has returning customers. If I think it's mostly returning customers coming back to me, so they are repeat customers, I might say something like, oh man, if you're on your 3rd of this, or don't forget this because you don't want to ever run out, I'm going to be speaking to them differently from somebody who the first time is coming in and thinking, Who are you? And what is this? And what is this like? And tell me more about how this can help me. It's a whole lot different content from photos, videos, and the actual text content than for somebody returning. I can also see the demographics and the tech that they're using. Are they coming in from laptops and desktops, or are they coming in from more from mobile phones, right? Or a smart TV? So it's important for you to measure that, because when you measure that, that is how you can make your website work more for you and be able to make better business decisions with those analytics. So let's take a look here at what you see from a website from the search side. From the search side, this is what search results look like. So you see that search query or that Google search bar at the very top. You'll see a text ad. Sometimes you'll see even photos there. Those are Google Shopping ads. Those are paid positions. And then you see 10 organic search results. Plus on that right-hand side, you see out there taking a lot of great visual real estate for free, the Google Business Profile. And if you don't have a profile because you believe that you are home-based, by appointment only, you don't want your address to publish on there because you don't think you can take it off of there, or that you're e-commerce and you can't have a Google Business Profile, then you are believing a lot of myths out there, and you have limited yourself from access and being able to control your information on Google Search and Maps, because you can do all of those things. And you can also suppress, meaning you won't publish the actual address where you're at, but still show that you serve a specific area. You can show that you serve up to 20 areas is what you can control in Google Search and Maps. And a lot of people don't realize how free that is, that they have that kind of control. I know when they don't know it, because they'll tell me things like, Maria, I can't, Google keeps showing this and I don't know why. Well, I ask them, do you control it? Are you actually in control of your Google Business Profile? Because if you aren't, then you're leaving it to the market, maybe an employee, a family member, somebody who left you a good review, or it could be a competitor, or it could be a disgruntled employee. So what you're looking for from your website is you want it to be fast. Understand, speed is of the essence. I can't tell you enough. You need to have your website on a mobile device. So using mobile service needs to load in 1.2 seconds or less. That's all you've got. Because if it takes longer than that, then you lose over half. 53% of your traffic is gone if it takes more than 1.2 seconds. If your website takes 2 seconds to load, or for some people, their beautiful themes and borders and all the photos that they have on there are so heavy that it could take a full 3 seconds to load, well, don't put any ads behind that, because it's a waste of money, because you could be sending people there. And if you take longer than 1.2 seconds, you lose over half, 53%. And for every second after that, you lose another 10%. So it's important to be fast. Now, if you have an e-commerce store, meaning you might have actual product on there, so you could have up to 100 or even thousands because of the different red variations, from a red t-shirt to a white t-shirt to a blue one, you have 1.8 seconds. That's all you have to load on a mobile device. And understand, we are not patient people. If it doesn't load, we will scroll down to your competitor, because it's not enough. It's not interesting enough for us to stay. So the same thing with useful content. If we see generic content there, if we don't think it's connecting with us, or that it's for us and going to help or be meant for us, then we're going to leave it too. Now, what is the big problem I see a lot of people run into in their website? I know that most people who are in small business get so excited, very excited about people coming to their website. So what they do with their homepage is they throw everything there. They just put a lot of stuff there, and they hope that when somebody comes to their website, they'll pick out what they want, and then they're going to go ahead and buy from them, or download something, or fill out the contact form, or call them. Any of those success actions, those conversions, are what we call them, success actions on your website. That's what they're hoping for. And while I'm a big fan of hope, it's a poor strategy, because if your website front page is a hot mess, understand that's the number one reason people leave, is because it's so full of things and disorganized, and they can't find what they were looking for. So it's important for us to understand the information people are looking for, the format they need it in. It is on us. All of that weight lays on our shoulders to be experts on our customers. So now when we have text links, also make sure the text links will help you understand what people are interested in, because they tap and they look at more of the things that they're interested in. So it helps you understand. But remember, when we are tapping, that we are on a small device. So if you've got a lot of links so close together and we got our big fat finger and we're tapping on that, we're not happy with you if we can't tap on anything. We're not upset with us and our finger. We're unhappy with you and your site design. So it's really important to give some space between text links so it's a nice user experience. Now, what also makes a site search friendly is for you to know the words people are using when they search for your product, service, or solution. Not industry speak, not what you think the words are, because remember, at one time you might have created your product or your service because you actually had the problem, but you now have experiential knowledge, and because of that, the words you use are different. So are you matching the words? Because understand that Google's algorithm is built, the pillars of the algorithm are built on 3 solid pillars that each have 250 to 1,000 factors. And the first one is relevance. How well do you match what people are using and the words that they're using? So it's important for you to use that in your page titles and descriptions. If you say you're the most amazing overhead door company, but people are searching for somebody who can fix their garage door that's falling off the rail, you're not matching, because overhead and garage are not the same sequence of letters and words. And so therefore you're not considered relevant and you're not showing high in search. Somebody has their mic on and I can hear a lot of clicking. So if you can make sure you mute your mic, it's really important that everybody mutes your mic because this is being recorded. Okay, we want a good experience for everybody. Also, information architecture. How are things organized? Are they flowing in what somebody would naturally look at next? And then does it look good for all browsers and devices? Because understand, we all have minimum now 5 devices. We all have 5 devices. So we might have a mobile phone, right? And we could have a tablet, an iPad, we could have a laptop, we can have a desktop, and then we have a smart TV. On average, people are coming in all of the different ways. So if before, for those of you who do know website design and analytics and have some experience with it, you may have heard bounce rate used to be the way we measured things, but that's so, that's so last year. It's not how you measure anymore because we bounce all the time from our mobile to our tablet or our iPad, then to the smart TV or to our laptop when we go to the cafe, and maybe our desktop when we get to the office. It's the engagement rate. Bounce rate is no more. And that's why you saw the new analytics come out about 3 years ago, Google Analytics 4, because it can measure our engagement rate as opposed to bounce rate, which is no longer a factor. All right, I see a question here. Let me see if I can answer it real quick. So index report. Oh, wow. Dawn, you're asking me, and then we're going into it. So that has to do with Google Search Console. Perfect timing, Dawn. I didn't even ask her to say that. How do you find the right words? Let me go back to Tanya's question real quick, okay, before we launch into this. All right. So Tanya, and I see somebody right above her. I'm going to see if I can answer that again. If it's lengthy, I might save it to the end. But Tanya, how do you find the right words? Ask your customers. Okay, that is the brilliant superpower we have as small businesses, is we are personal and we are nimble. We actually know our customers by name compared to larger companies that may need to come up with a committee and a whole survey form. We can actually ask them. If you don't, if again, it's good to have conversations. And in fact, I encourage you to have conversations with your customers that are not just transactional, meaning that you want to sell them something or market something. But what you can do also is read your own reviews, because people in their own words talk about what matters most to them, which means that's what they were searching for first, because they didn't just want somebody to fix their garage door. They wanted somebody who could come quick, who'll be on time, who's reliable, who has a guarantee or a money back or a warranty. So they search for those things, and in their review, they'll say, I love them. The overhead door company was so helpful. The technician came on time. He left real quickly. He was very kind, cordial, made sure he wore footies, even though he was just back in the garage. He made sure that it was a good experience for me. And I felt like that was great customer service, or a great professional, and also gave me a warranty. Those, again, are the words that people put in their own reviews. If you don't have any reviews, go read your competitors' reviews, because it's good to do competitive research. I always like to be able to learn on the back of somebody else's experience. And in their own words, people are telling you what matters most. It'll also give you a chance to see if there's an opportunity there that maybe they're not serving, that they're not doing well, that you could fill in. Okay. So Rose, I have a small business email from Squarespace, but goes to, okay, that I'm going to have to save that to the end because that seems very personal. I'm not even sure, Rose, if I could if I could answer that here in our session. Okay. But now, Dawn, going to your question about, so if I don't answer it in the question, in the actual session here, feel free to reply back to the email that you get. When you get the handouts in the recording, because that's my email, I'll answer there. Again, there's just one of me, so it could take me a couple of days. Or reach out to your SCORE mentor, because they're there for you. They're the boots on the ground. They're really helping you, and they can explain to you exactly what's happening and be support to you, or get support and recommend local services. All right, Dawn, to answer your question, Google Search Console, understand that Google Search Console is the door to Google's library. People believe that Google is the World Wide Web, and it's not. Google is the biggest library, the biggest directory of the World Wide Web. So it's on you and us as small businesses. Google Search Console is free to enter our book, our website, all of our digital presence and web property into Google's library. If you don't, you have to wait for Googlebot, and it could take 90 to 180 days, even more than that, for Googlebot to find you. Even though Googlebot is amazing, I don't want to rely on hope. Remember what I said about it being great, but a poor strategy? I want to be very purposeful that when I publish something, Google sees it right away. In order to do that, you have to enter it into the library. Google Search Console is 100% free, and that's the door to Google's library. When you see something like what Dawn's seeing about indexing, it means you've published some pages it can't see. So it doesn't see your index, your sitemap of pages. You need to submit that. So it's telling you, can't see all your pages, something's going on here, something's not working, or it tried to see all your pages and there's something wrong on there. Most of the time, people don't know that some of the CMSs, the content management systems, which are platforms that websites are built on, like Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, WordPress, some of them have built in by default the ability on certain pages for, they put a no follow, so they don't want Google to look at it. So it's purposely telling Google that, but you're publishing it like you want Google to see it. So now Google's confused. You can give Google clear directions here in the library, which you can get to at the bottom corner of the left-hand corner. Now on a mobile, what that looks like is you can go in and make sure, look, Google, these are all the pages I want you to see. These are the pages I don't want you to see. Okay, those are the pages that are not meant to be public facing. And then you can also see where that traffic's coming from, who's linking to you, what are they looking for exactly, what are your most popular pages, what if you haven't opened yet and don't have customers. I'm here a little early. Again, Sheila, look at your competitors. Competitive research, if you're brand new in business, is so key and important. And your competitors, I guarantee you, have reviews. Okay, so take a look at that, because you can read from there and see what matters most to people, and understand that if you put something out that you think people should look at and it's not what they want to look at, we can't tell people what they should do, what they should be asking, what they should be searching for or watching. We can't do that. We don't want to should on people. And I said should. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to align with them, and wherever their eyeballs are, now we want to get some of those eyeballs looking at us. So if they're looking at our competitors, what are they looking at the competitor for? Because maybe if we use the same words that they are so involved in putting into their actual review, they know that it matters to them. If we say, you know what, they say customer service is what they were looking for, it was amazing, or you know what, that the person was dirty, they weren't helpful. Now we know that's an opportunity for us, because that's a place that we can put those words into our actual website and show up being relevant, because now we're matching what people are looking for. When they say, hey Google, hey Alexa, hey Perplexity, hey ChatGPT, hey Google Gemini, hey Bing GPT, when they ask any of those questions, we are now matching and we're relevant, which is a key pillar in Google's algorithm. All search algorithms. So even though I'm talking about Google right now, understand Google's the gold standard of search engines, but what works for Google is good for any of the other search engines, like Apple, like Bing, like DuckDuckGo. Okay, so any of those, like Yahoo. So to control, if you'll see here at the top bullet point, you will see how you can get to Google Search Console, which is where you can control your actual information and see and let Google know what you want it to see and what you don't want it to look at or don't put for public view. This is really important, okay? But let me give you a little expert hint. If you are going to do this, I recommend that you actually start with Google Analytics first, connect that to your website, because you'll need to verify you're the business owner. Google Analytics is one of the biggest and the oldest tools that Google has in place that's available to the public or the people with any website. Except marketplaces. So no eBays, no Amazons. They have a closed loop, no Etsy's. They have their own reporting structure. Those are marketplaces. But for your own actual website, you can connect Google Analytics. If you do that and verify you're the business owner there, it'll walk you through the process. It's pretty intuitive. Now, after that, you connect Google Search Console. Understand, low-hanging SEO is to connect all Google tools, because when Google tools are speaking to each other, they look at the information, and if it's consistent, understand brand trust is built with consistency. When they can see your logo and your information and your products or services are here and they're meshing and they're the same. Now you get YouTube, Google Merchant Center, you have a Google Business Profile, you use Google Ads potentially. Those are all Google products, and Google trusts its own products. So it lifts you higher in search because it has more confidence in your business. So when you start with Google Analytics first, then you go to Google Search Console, it's a lot easier to verify that you're the business owner than the other way around. It can become cumbersome the other way around. So to save some time, energy, and money, I say always start with Analytics first, connect that, then go to Google Search Console. A great website has to be convenient. So when we look at responsive design, that means I could be on my iPhone, but then I can also be on my Android because I have one of each, just because the work that I'm in. So I look at the different designs and it needs to be able to adjust, and it needs to look great on my smart TV, which is nothing like a 4.5-inch screen. Also, a simple payment process. Understand that people aren't wanting complicated. They want easy. They've got a lot of their money information, financial information in PayPal, in Stripe, in Venmo, in Google Pay, in Apple Pay, in MetaPay, in Amazon Pay. They want to use those tools. I worked with a business that grew, and he continues to grow his business, but he did so knowing that his best shopper was shopping at 2:15 every morning. It was women who own dogs, who have two small children, and they work outside of the house during the day. 2:15 is when they shop. He made sure that every payment process was available to them because he knew they are not getting out of their nice cozy bed at 2:15 when they're shopping online, when they have some downtime finally before they sleep. They're not going to get out of that cozy bed and go to their wallet or backpack to get out the payment information. If you don't have the kind of payment form that they use, then they were scrolling down to somewhere else or left it for later, which never happened because they got busy. So do you provide personalized recommendations? Because that's expected now. People are expecting that. That changed in 2020, and people want you to know exactly what they're looking for and what would be a complementary accessory, tool, information, or video that they're looking at. Okay. Also, they're looking for the other conveniences. If you see there on the right-hand side, some actual conveniences you provide as a business. So when we look at responsive design, remember what I said about mobile first approach, right? And you need to make sure that it's easy and fluid. And I'm a big fan of Shopify because a lot of people use it for e-commerce, but there are some templates, some actual templates. So that's the background and everything to Shopify that take 3 seconds to load. What did I tell you about the importance of load time, not just to the person who's searching, but to the search engine, to be able to build trust and confidence in you? It's not going to give people a bad experience. If it takes your site too long to load, it's just like me. If I have a great friend who's amazing, but they're always late to get coffee, I'm less likely to recommend them if I know that they're always going to keep people waiting at least 20 to 45 to an hour, even 25 minutes to an hour before they actually show up. So I'll be less likely to recommend them. It's the same thing with your site. If it takes more than 1.2 seconds, Google doesn't feel confident and trust you enough to be able to recommend you, which means it's not going to show you high in search. Because if you're not on that first page of search, which is 10 organic search results on a desktop, laptop, or tablet, and then on a mobile device, it's 2 swipes. If you're not there, then people don't look past that. They don't look past the second page of Google unless you owe them money and they're hunting you down. So you want to make sure that your website is accessible, it's easy to be found, it's easy for people to get around, to manage. It loads fast on mobile, and you don't want to do things like go with the default setting of the social icons on top. So see a lot of people doing that. Understand you work too hard on socials and your newsletter and everything that you're doing to get people to your website. Why in the world would you put those social icons at the top to distract them and send them away from your website? They need to be there because I might want to check your social credibility to know whether or not you're a good company or person to do business with. They can be in the footer. Understand, being in that first page before they scroll up is like the top or the front page of a newspaper. You put the most important things there. Why in the world would you ever lead them off to social where they'll get lost? They will. I mean, they might go there with the intent, you know what, I'm going to check out the jam, this Trade Street jam. I'm going to check them out. I mean to do that. And then what happens is, oh my gosh, my sister just tweeted out or just posted that, you know, her and her boyfriend are going to Belize, and that's amazing. So I'm off on another thing, another adventure, completely forgetting why I went to social. So a lot of people I see, the first mistake that they're making on their website is the fact that they leave those social icons right at the very top of the page. We also want to make payment processes simple, right? Reduce those checkout steps, right? And make sure that we have all of their information. We're using tools and processors that house all that information, and it's easy for them to get around. Also, just so you know, when I am teaching the Thriving at E-commerce, so I do a Thriving at E-commerce remote about working remotely, and then another one that I do for Google, which is thriving at just e-commerce and being able to make more money at e-commerce. One of the things that I teach people is when you're looking at the front of your phone, understand by default, a lot of the chat box and question box here at the bottom right hand corner will show up there by default on a mobile design. Well, if somebody's buying something, where does their thumb go, right? That's as far as it can go. I'm left-handed, but I still hold my phone with the right hand. If you got that chat bot in the way of a buy now button, that will keep people from buying because it's too much of a pain. So understand, we've got to make it easy for people to buy from us all day long. We also can recommend similar products. So we didn't know that, you know, if you had the blueberry jam, that would do really good with peach, or maybe I need the blueberry lemon because that just gives a nice spin and twang to it that I never thought about. So are you offering that for those who have shopping or e-commerce stores? But also for those of you who have information like coaches or downloadable information, are you showing that next video? Or if you're a real estate agent and you're teaching them why you are so helpful to them because you know the school district better than the other real estate agents, so you can help them understand exactly whether or not they are finding the right school for the right discipline or what their kid actually wants to study. All right. Make sure you build that convenience into your website. Make it easy for people all day long. What if you aren't open yet? Okay, I made sure I answered that question, Sheila. I wanted to make sure I addressed that. So again, you want to showcase these conveniences, make it easy for people to find on your site. Now, how do you know if your site is responsive? You can tell that in Google Chrome. Google Chrome is more than just a web browser. It actually does a lot of this and heavy lifting in giving you as a business owner or even as a marketer the ability to see more information than you thought you could see. Okay, so it gives you some marketing information. So let me know. In fact, I'm going to go here and show you. I'm going to do a live demo. If somebody wants to drop their website in the chat, I'm going to pick it up right now. So just drop your website in the chat. And I'm going to show you something. Okay, let me go to Pamela chipsanddoodles.com. Perfect. All right, Pamela. All right, I'm in a Chrome browser. Remember this, SITE colon. It's the two dots on top of each other. And then I'm going to put Pamela's website. I'm not going to put the HTTPS. I'm not going to put the // or colon or anything like that. I just put site, Google Chrome browser first, site, and then her website, so the website name, .com, .net, whatever it is. So I'm going to hit enter. All right. What is happening here? So let me make this bigger. It is showing me all the pages that Google sees of her site. which is good if you have about 30 pages. So it goes 1, 2, 3, about 10 search results per page. It's telling me there's about maybe 20, so it looks like 10, oops, 10, 20, and then 22 pages. If you have more than 22 pages, like for example, every product size, an ounce of this, or 16 ounces might actually be a page. If you have more than those pages, then Google only sees 22 pages. Now, Pamela, I'm also going to show you this. I'm going to go to your website. So let's take a look at her website. Okay. And I'm going to right click on the website. Go all the way down to inspect. Remember, I'm in a Google Chrome browser. All right. So what this is telling me, I'm not going to pay attention to the gibberish on the right, but this is what her site looks like on an iPhone. Looks readable, looks legible. I don't have to swipe side to side to be able to read everything. I don't have to pinch and zoom. This is a good responsive website. Does it look the same if I go to a Samsung Galaxy? Because that's a little bit smaller screen. Okay, good, looks good. What if I want to see what the website looks like on a iPad Pro? Nice adjustments. See how it doesn't look wonky? Nothing looks out of line. Really excellent, Pamela. This is mobile responsive, and that's what I'm seeing here. And that's how you can test a site too. All you need to do, again, is go to your website, click here on the right. You're going to do a right click, click to inspect, and that's when you're going to get to that other screen so you can see that. And then if you want to see how much Google can actually see of you, you'll go to site : remember you're on a Google Chrome browser, you have to be on a Chrome browser, site : and then you're going to put your actual website address .com. You're not going to put the HTTPS, okay? Lastly, before we finish up, we want to talk about how a website needs to be aligned with and organized with what people are expecting and what they're looking for. So IA is known as information architecture. It's how you outline your site. So by default, most websites have, an about page, a team page, a contact page, and if they're an e-commerce store, they have a shop page, right? But understand, let's say I wanted to buy gift cards. Well, I might not want to go into the shop here and scroll all through all the jams, all the hot sauce, all the accessories just to find gift cards. So if you're organizing your site, you want to think about how your customer shops and their journey that they take. Understand, we scroll, we shop, we social, and then we search. And we do all of those things when we're looking and comparing product, service, or solutions. So when we're listing our pages on our site, we do have to have and make it available for people to see the menu so they can navigate our site. We also want to make sure that there's a clear call to action on each site. It's because we're all busy, everyone. We're inundated with all these 12,400 messages on any given day. And because of that, if you don't tell us what to do next, we might be distracted by a text from our kid to go pick them up. And all of a sudden we go back here and we think, what was I'm going to do? What is it that was happening here? You need to tell us, shop new releases, buy this now, check out all of these other jams that go with this. So again, we want to make it easy for them to be able to navigate and get around. I'm looking for a website designer. Absolutely. Okay. Understand, when you look for a website designer, there are two disciplines here. So I want you to be aware, because a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that a website designer can do all. You can do web design and web development. Some people have enough skill set to do both, but that's rare. Understand, web designer is the graphic who makes it beautiful, looks amazing, maybe even makes it look functional. The web developer codes that in. So it does all the things you want it to. When they go to Blueberry Jam, you want them to show the blueberry lemon tart with it too, to be able to suggest that. The web developer is going to do that. They're the coder. They're the ones who know how to make the functions work and to be able to write code, or to be able to work with the device and the content management system in the back to make it look good. The designer is the one who does the graphic. And because one is so data focused and heavy in coding and wants to dot every I and cross every T and every colon and backslash, and the other one is more looking at the whole graphic design, sometimes those are not one and the same person. But a lot of people think they can find that, and they make the big mistake of somebody who says, yes, I can do both, and they find that they're really better at one than the other. You need to know if that's true by looking at what designs they've done before completely, not where they just participated. I helped with this design or collaborated with this design. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Laura. All right. Where do I go to create a website myself? Oh, there's lots of content management systems like Shopify, WordPress, Squarespace. If you want to test it out for free, you can go to Google Sites. Google Sites are for free, and you can make a website there too. That's 100% free, and test it out. Maybe you're just vetting proof of concept, right? And so you're trying to get a good idea of what flows and what works best. So you want to test it out there before you spend money on a site or designer. Now, knowing how to organize your site, that is from feedback from people and knowing how they shop. That is from you being an expert on your customer. Google Trends can help you understand what words people are searching for. Again, this is 100% for free. You'll go to g.co/trends. You'll see that URL at the bottom left-hand corner, that website address. And that's a chance for you to see what people are actually searching for right now. So you could put those words on your site. Remember what I said about using the words that people use. And I can show you that at the end if that'll be helpful to you. I want to be mindful of everybody's time if they need to get going in a moment. So I do want to finish up, but I'm here for you as long as you have questions and I can show you things. The last thing that I also want to show you before we finish up is make your 404 pages helpful. So this is when they can't find something. So a couple things people don't do, and this is not set up by default, is I actually, when I'm working with a business, I set up so when somebody's searching for a page or information on their site and they don't find it, it makes a list of what the words that they're searching for and what they don't find. So I look at all of that. The reason being, if I'm working with a construction company or a rental company and they have forklifts, they might have forklifts that are back on page 68 and it's the first thing people are looking for. So we might move it to the front page at that point because it's the most popular item. Also, make all of your 404 pages, this is a page where people land when they can't find what they're looking for, make them helpful by saying, you know what, that may not have what you're looking for, but this might be what you're looking for. Or is this similar? Or is this like it? So I've seen people get very creative with those 404 pages. And again, you want to make sure your site is trustworthy. You want to have that lock by your URL, your website address, showing that you're secure. So whenever they type in information, be their email address or their payment information, that it is secure. Nobody will be able to trust you if you don't have that. And understand, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the world to spend on SEO, search engine optimization. There is no amount of money you can spend to get to the top of the search if your website's not mobile responsive and secure. Those are two items that Google does require every search engine, and you're penalized heavily when you don't have that, meaning you will never show up in the first 10 searches of search, which are so important for people to be able to see, as well as all these other trust factors too. All right, I know we've covered a lot here, and there's a lot more that we can cover. I'm just going to go through those quickly. I understand if you need to go, not to worry, we are recording, but we are at the end. So I do want to let you know that what are you going to take action on? Because your site needs to have all these 5 components. What is of the most focus to you and most important that you're actually going to apply what you've learned? So let me know in the chat box. Also, reach out to SCORE because they're your amazing team there to help you, there to be able to assist. How do we suggest links on 404 pages? So you actually design those pages. Dawn, what you do is you design the page so that when this is the page that shows up anytime people can't find what they're looking for, and then you can design it. For some people, like I know clothing designers, they'll say, you know what, you were looking for a blazer, but maybe you really want a jacket. So they'll put that there or some helpful links on there as well. Okay, so that they can look around saying maybe you also want a scarf and maybe some gloves, or maybe you want a professional shirt because maybe you want a blazer or a jacket more for business. And if you want me to do a free SEO audit, you can utilize our tool here. Go take a look at it. It'll give you a free SEO audit showing you what you need to do. Understand we not only focus on SEO, but AEO, answer engine optimization, which is AI powered search, because that is how people search right now. Okay. This is how you can find me. The link at the very top is a bit.ly link. So that means that it is case sensitive and your Norton antivirus is going to hate it. Just know that that's a thing with bit.ly links. But if you keep it all lowercase, you can find me. It brings up all my socials. Choose and connect with me on the one that you use the most. I'm happy to celebrate with you when you actually apply what you've learned. Okay? All right. And I model what I teach, which is if you've given good product, service, or solution, that you actually asked for a review, because a lot of people would intend to give you a great review, but you didn't ask and then they got busy. You don't have to leave me a great review, but I would be honored if you leave me a review. So I see some questions here, which I'm going to get to real quick. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because that's just for the people in the room, but I am going to go to questions and I'm going to bring, let me see the chat box right front and center so I can see it. I'd like to see how to check your site on Google Chrome again. I tried to follow, but I understand. That's why you want a copy of the recording, because you want to slow me down and speed me up as you need to. But I can certainly do that. Let me bring that up. So how can you check your site in Google Chrome again? All right, we're just going to play with, I've got to switch screens to do this. If you want to, Rebecca, no, it's not Rebecca. Cassandra, if you want to drop your website in the link there, or in the chat box, I'm sorry, bring your website there, I'll bring it up, okay? Let me see. All right, Cassandra, I see it. Everybody else, I see your comments. I'll get to you in just a moment. I just want to copy and paste this. All right, Cassandra, let's go to the live demo. All right, so you said you wanted to see, what was the question again? I got to scroll up to get it. I want to check your site on Google Chrome. Okay, so two things you can do to do that is first we'll go to your site, okay? And then we're going to see what it looks like on mobile. So I right click, I click inspect, and that's what it looks like on mobile. So let's go to an iPhone. All right, nice. See, I like your menu up here because you're helping people get around. They don't have to worry about where to tap. Now, I'm a little worried because you've got this coming up. You might want to look at the timing of this, that it doesn't come up within the first 3 seconds, because that might be slowing your load time too. A lot of these pop-ups that kind of come up, you can wait to time them out for like 10 seconds in or 7 seconds. So that way they're not right there and it's not blocking all this great info behind it. You can minimize it, yes, but understand you're asking the person who's looking at your information to do the work on this, okay? So I minimized it. And I can read it. I don't have to swipe side to side. I can see the photos. Beautiful, beautiful, nicely done. Okay, so it's looking solid all the way through here. I can navigate up here. Really, really good. Oh, love it. You're using the strength of YouTube, which helps Google. I mean, it loves its own products, right? All right, let's get out of this. All right, so that we've already seen what it looks like on mobile, but now we're going to go into Chrome and we're going to put site in front of this. So we're going to go here, take that away. SITE colon. All right, Google sees 3 pages. Okay, you do have some work here, because I did see that there looked like there was more than just this pages on Drake and service consultations. But you know the back end of what you have and what pages you've published online, Cassandra. But right now, Google only sees 3 pages. Okay, so that might be hurting you in search. Make sure you go to Google Search Console to be able to index and actually put your sitemap in, is what you're going to do. Let Google know what pages you actually have. All right, let's see, what other questions do we have here? Daryl, you're so funny. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. How do you add the lock to show that your site's secure? Okay, for Andrea, you need to get a secure site. So that's with your web hosting. Web hosting, you're looking for what's known, I'm going to drop it here, as an SSL certificate. Okay, so if you're with GoDaddy, if you're trying to think with Yahoo, I'm trying to think what other sites there could be, site developers, Bluehost, Ionis, any of those, you're going to go straight to it's where you have hosting, your website hosting. Okay. Let's see, what other questions do I have here? Where might I find developers and designers? You can find them by asking Google them, because they will market themselves separately. As I said, there are many who market them together. Just that, you trust and verify, right? You always verify by looking at their work and knowing that it's their work. Okay, that's the key, that they're not showcasing you someone else's work. You can also go to Upwork and Fiverr, but you know what, Laura, my first answer to you is going to go to your SCORE mentor and find out who locally is there, because they can refer and recommend you. Plus, they have a lot of other SCORE mentors and chapters they can lean into to see who locally fits exactly what you're looking for. Okay. Let's see, there's another question here. If sent to a 404 page, will it still say 404 page with suggestions underneath if you add this to your website, or will it look like just another page on your website? You can make it look like another page on your website. Keith, you can make it say, oops, you've gotten to the wrong place. So some people are, oops, you're looking for something we don't have, and it has, a dog on it. I know Shopify stores do that by default, so it doesn't even say 404. That's, again, a technical term, yes, that we who are designing websites or anyone who owns a website needs to know that a 404 page comes up. And that's why it will be by default if you don't design something with it. So yes, you could do that. Let's see. Love your professional input on yours. I branched out on my own to share educational videos. Sure, let's take a look at this and see. This is Janine. So Janine, let's take a look at your website. Okay, so the site is not secure. So you see how Google's already telling me you're not going to take a look at this. If you want to go, you're going to a very dangerous space where people could be harvesting your information, collecting your IP address, looking and start mirroring everything that you type in. So it's telling me your site's not secure. So I can't look at that. I mean, I could go past this, but I don't because it is still my desktop and I don't like to go where there's this, but I'm not alone on this. So understand how much of the market you're losing here. Okay. Let's see. You're welcome, Yolanda. Janine, I use Wix. It was pretty user friendly trying to create a site of your own. Yeah, Wix is great, but understand whoever is doing your hosting or your domain, that's where Wix also has the ability to activate your security. So the SSL certificate, that's what you're looking for, Janine. For my website. Perfect, Laura. I'm so excited. Daryl, you're very welcome. How do I fix that? Okay, so you need to go to your domain host or go to Wix because what you're looking to activate, and it may just be you have to activate it in the back end. I don't know Wix as well. I've seen a few Wix backends, but I don't know it like I do WordPress, Squarespace, and Shopify. But you're going to look for the SSL certificate, and there may be a cost to that. It's going to be somewhere between $3.96 a year to $12, depending on your web hosting or your content management system. It could be associated with Wix too if you bought your domain with them. If you bought your domain like on GoDaddy, Namecheap, or something like that, then it might not. I know with Squarespace, and Squarespace bought Google domain, then yes, it's in the same space, but it might be different for yours. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking for, that SSL certificate. Google that or reach out to your SCORE mentor. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Before we finish up, because you guys have been really solid helping me here at 11 minutes past the hour. You've been very kind and generous with your time. Okay, so this one's a long one. Hold on just a second. My website process of finishing it up. Can you give me any suggestions? Ramsey, let me look here real quick. I'm just going to do two more, everybody, okay? Because I want to be respectful of your SCORE mentor's time too, Bill. I want to be very respectful of your time. All right, let's go here. Oops. All right, let's go and take a look at this site. Nice. Ooh, I'm just seeing this. So it doesn't look like, it looks like there's just two pages, contact and home. Okay, it's not showing that it's mobile friendly yet. Who shared this with me? Danny, because this boat is bigger than this photo. It's not reduced the boat size to fit in this frame. Okay, so if I go even smaller, see how it's even smaller here? All right, so this means it's not mobile friendly. So that needs to be fixed first because you're not going to get to the top of Google search if you don't do that. And then if we go to site, Google only sees one page. Realistically, that's really what I see here too. Yeah, it says two pages, and it may be, but Google only sees one. So you really need to work on that, okay? Work on making sure that your site is mobile friendly because that's going to be critical to everything that you do, okay? Square, it won't read the address of local university to deliver to dorms. I have customers that reach out because they can't enter their student dorm address. Feel like it's difficult they aren't ordering. Is there a better option that accepts an address? There are fill out forms that you can fill out. You can utilize one. This is for, I'm answering Pamela. One is Google Forms. So you can have them fill out a Google form. So that's 100% free. Have you ever seen that in Google? So it's 100% free through your Gmail account. All right. So when you're in Google, let me see here. Yes, you have seen Google Forms, Pamela. So you could utilize Google Forms to do that. You can use email marketing to do that too. Then I don't need to show you that. Okay. Right. You're familiar with that. So you could use that. There might be specifics too that a web developer can help you with. That's why I do recommend for something that specific where they're going to have to look and test on your site to talk to SCORE, because it also could be the setup of your records. So it's not picking up from that local area, and it could be that too. There are so many things that it could be. That's why I want you to spend time with somebody who could really hone in on that and start testing your site, because it really does need to be tested. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? I think I did my 2, right, that I promised. I sure did. Oh, here you go. Let's go. Adrian, you're going to be the last one. Okay, last site I'm going to take a look at, because we're holding Bill hostage 15 minutes after. Let's see. Let me paste this here, spawn the go. Oh, I'm going to go into that screen. Okay. I can tell just from the load time it took, Adrian, on my desktop, that this video is probably slowing it down because it auto plays. Just so you know, that video and photos that are too large or too big, they'll slow things down. So you might want to make it so it doesn't autoplay, or if you want it to autoplay, make it into a GIF. Make it to where it's just on this nice repeat loop real quick, and then they can click through to see the long one. But it does look like that. Let's look and see if you look mobile responsive. You're not mobile responsive either. I'm going to reload this just in case, because sometimes Google does get wonky. All right, so you did see, this is one where I tell you Google gets a little wonky, so I reloaded it just to verify what it looks like on mobile. So I do see it on mobile. It is looking well on mobile. So, but understand that a video on mobile is not going to be able to load in 1.2 seconds. This is the #1 culprit of it not being able to load. Whenever you test the site, the speed of your site and its load time, you want to really take a good look at this, Adrian. A lot of realtors that I work with who have video of homes, home tours, drones, over a farm or ranch land, will have the video on their desktop, but not on the mobile version of it. So they take it off for mobile version because it slows down the load time. All right, let's go see what Google sees. Google sees, it looks like 10 pages. Okay. If you have more than 10 pages to your site, then Google's not seeing all that. So you do need to look at Google Search Console and make sure that you indexed your site and that Google can see everything of your site. Okay. All right. Everyone, I want to thank you for your time. Yep, I agree. I agree. It is a beautiful website. You're very welcome, Pamela. You're welcome to everybody. Bill, thank you so much. Please reach out to your SCORE mentor, everybody. I encourage you to do that. That's what they're there for. They want to help and assist you. And again, thank you, SCORE, for the opportunity to be here again and being patient and giving us 17 minutes of Q&A. That was amazing. Thank you.
Great job as always, Maria. Maria will be back with us again on April the 3rd at noon on using YouTube for growth. So we look forward to that. Thank you all for being here.